Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. Really good, actually. Had a really good trip to New York this past weekend. Probably the most fun I had in New York, bro, in a very long time, which is weird to say. Obviously, the wedding was the most fun I've ever had in my life. But like on like a normal weekend family birthday type shit, I really think it was because like it wasn't overwhelmingly like a lot of people. Like, so you've seen like the videos I post at times in my aunt's house. It's like, bro, like 70 people deep. Like you're cramped in a corner in the kitchen, which again, at times is a vibe, but also can be extremely overwhelming. So this was like a lower key, still that type of energy, but like I was able to socialize with people more like a one-on-one basis, man. So it was really, really fun, man. So got back safe and sound, thank God. I wasn't a part of any of the mayhem you may have seen on social media with like the Colombians at the soccer game. Left that shit alone. But yeah, man, really, really good weekend on my end, bro. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. Hung out with some friends. What did we do? Oh, we hung out in like downtown San Jose area, which was
How's
cool.
that?
So it was really nice. Hit up a few different bars, which we usually frequent. The difference this time was one of the bars we went to. My boy Moon had been there before, and that has a live jazz band. So they kind of do jazz renditions of popular like oldie songs like Luther
Oh,
Vandross and stuff. And I never really kicked it at a spot like that like old heads would hang out at, and had a really good time being there. It was a nice change of scenery.
nice,
From just
dude.
hearing the same, top 40 songs and same crowds and stuff. It was more low key. It's kind of funny because we just saw a bunch of like men in their 50s with women who are younger, and we were making fun how like this is where people go when they're recently divorced and shit.
Yeah. You're looking for that
Probably the
sugar
case.
daddy kind of a thing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, besides that, nothing too ordinary out of the weekend. Work has been pretty busy, so looking forward to next outing, which is next week. We're going to Vegas for a couple days, so that should be
Bro,
fun.
so like, I was thinking about Vegas because you mentioned like the oldies bar. So, bro, I can find out more if you're interested. And if you guys already have it planned out, we can do this the next time like I go with you to Vegas. But dude, so I guess Bruno Mars owns a restaurant slash a bar slash lounge at the Bellagio. I think it's called
Okay.
Pink or Pinky or something like that. But like the music there is like a band like the Silk Sonic type sound. But dude, they play every genre, but just in that like bandy kind of thing. So, bro, I
Nice.
heard that shit is like, dude, my boss was just there. And bro, he said that's like the best club experience he's ever been to, like in his life, bro.
Wow.
So yeah, dude. So and it's
And what
only
type of a club goer is he?
I mean, dude, he's a little bit older than us, but like he's also like, I mean, I'm not gonna talk about your pockets, but he's like very rich, right? So I think he's been exposed to like the bottle service in Miami and the bottle service in Vegas.
Yeah.
Like he's seen it all, kind of a thing. So he said this was a fucking like vibe, bro. So yeah, if you have time, check it out. I think it's called Pinkies or Pink. I think it's table only, but it just helps with that energy. Like they only allow like, I think it's a small venue too, so it never gets too crowded that you feel like people like on top of you in a weird way. So yeah, bro, the way he was explaining that shit, I was like, dog, I'm about to book my flight now.
It's called a pinky ring, apparently.
Pinky ring. There you go. Yeah. But dude, he said that that band plays house music, like fire throwback R&Bs, fire current rap songs, like, but in that with that like jazz band groovy type feel.
Nice.
And he said like they do it in a very non-corny way. Cause I'm like, bro, that sounds like that could be corny. He's like, bro, trust me, bro. Like he's like, that shit was a vibe. So yeah, again, it doesn't have to be this trip if you guys already have plans, but
yeah.
I know you're just going. And when you were talking about the jazz band, like that was actually like coming to my mind.
Dope. No, I'm definitely gonna have a look at that.
Nice, man. Cool. Vegas. How long is it? 2 nights or you do 3 nights?
Just 2 nights. I feel like, I mean, I don't recall the last time I did 3 nights, but Vegas is definitely like a 2-night place. If you're planning on like partying and shit.
Correct. And you're going to get there at nighttime on the first night, right? Like you get there like around Early
like
evening, yes.
5
Yeah. Just to like, maximize your time. That's smart, bro.
So,
Yeah, I really want to do a couples trip with Gina, but yeah, we definitely got to go again because I feel like the last time we went was also a good time, and that was like years ago, bro. So cool. All right, bro. Well, let's get to it. A little bit of a break. Appreciate you adjusting the recording session time. So always appreciate you for that. So episode 186 about to pop off. Episode 185 is up everywhere. We discussed the Not Like Us video. And I think because of that video got some more attention, Kendrick is #1 on the Billboard charts again. So shout out to him. But dude, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with Big Sean, Eminem's album, the Reddit controversy of people thinking that Eminem dissed Kendrick? Like, where do you want to start, bro?
let's start. Yeah, everything Eminem. Since
Everything
that's
Eminem.
top of mind for me. Yeah.
Okay, so the album we just listened to it. The album is called The Death of Slim Shady, right? So essentially this is Marshall Mathers talking to Slim Shady in this like battle of, the new version of him versus the old version of him. Man, it's funny because in listening to this, it reminded me of some of the commentary you and I had about the Lupe album, right? But like for me, like I was able to enjoy the Fiasco album a little bit more because I didn't listen to the in-between of Lupe's career, right? Like I was there for the beginning and then I went away and then I heard Samurai and I'm like, bro, this is fire, bro, I couldn't have that same reaction to Eminem because I did try to listen to the in-between of his career, right? From like the peak of like the Marshall Mathers, the Eminem show, like I dabbled in it and didn't care for it. So when I got to this, I'm like, I don't want to say it's bad, but it just doesn't feel like this is for me. I didn't know if it was the production, bro. Like this felt very much like, I appreciate the lyrics. I know he has, dude, such clever lines where he's talking about like, I'm a better rapper than everyone out there and it's not even close. And he'll like give you an example of that. You're like, damn, bro, he's right. But like production wise, man, it really was a struggle to like lure me in to even want to listen to the content. How did you feel about digesting it?
Yeah, for me, I mean, Eminem's always been an artist where the production just wasn't a fit for me, nor was the content ever a fit. Like I've always respected him and I've always been like, yeah, he's one of the legends and goats. But I think for me, like when I'm as a music listener, I'm looking for 3 things. Like either I want to be moved emotionally, I want to dance and wild out, or I want to vibe out and relax. And I feel like his music doesn't like hit any of those, rarely hits any of those 3 boxes for me. So I feel like half the time it's almost like looking at a street performer who's juggling like fucking 300 items. You're like, this is dope, but would I pay to see this shit?
But why?
Or like, do I want to watch this again? Yeah, like, but why? Like, when he puts words together, yeah, I smirk and I'm like, wow, like that's super clever. No one else would think of that or is possible of thinking of that. But then I'm like, but why? Like, what's the point? And I think I've always felt that way about his music. I feel
even
like
from the jump, like the Eminem show and like Marshall Mathers LPs and those albums.
Maybe not so much back then. I don't know. Just like generally speaking, I just feel like in the back of my mind, it always just feels kind of gimmicky. Like unless it's a song like I Am or like
Lose Yourself.
Yeah, Lose Yourself and shit like that. Like that just feels super authentic. Then I understand. But like when it's like that one song, the single he had, that kind of sounded like it was off
Houdini?
one of his old LPs. Yeah, Houdini. Like shit like that. I'm like, this is funny to like watch, but
yeah,
I can't like seriously sit down and listen to it and like, pump my fist and be like, yeah, this is fucking the dopest song ever. It just doesn't connect with me.
Yeah. No, dude, I totally get that. I think the reason, and I don't want to speak for you, but again, I'm starting to realize, bro, like obviously the human experience is a very unique thing for individuals. But when you speak these things out loud, you realize, oh, you're also going through that same thing. I think, dude, because we're similar in age, I think the reason why one, obviously, you can't deny his like lyrical ability, right? Like that cannot be denied whatever time you listen to Eminem. However, dude, I think with like the Marshall Mathers, like that type of sound that he had back in the day when we were like in middle school, high school, bro, we were also rebellious as kids, right? In the sense of like, ooh, this is like a naughty thing we shouldn't be listening to, but like, yeah, like
Yeah.
let's kill everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like fuck it. Whereas like now it's like, dude, like I wanted to Google like, what does he have against Christopher Reeves? I'm like, this guy died 15 years ago. Was a
Yeah.
paraplegic his last 20 years on this earth? Like, what beef do you have with him, bro? Like, it made me feel so uncomfortable to be like, should I be listening to this dude? Like, again, as a 35-year-old man with a mortgage, I was just like, oh, bro, it's really, yeah, it was just really hard for me to fully engage, man. Like, that was the truth of it. Like, I'm gonna give it another listen because I do respect his ability. And there were a couple songs, and we'll get like that did lure me in. I was like, all right, man, this is pretty good. But it felt like a whole album of Lose Yourself, in the sense of like, not Lose Yourself, 8 Mile, the movie, where he's like essentially like just playing jokes on himself. So it's like, if I say this about myself, like, what are you gonna say about me, kind of a thing. But then it's also like, bro, I don't know, man, just like, I don't know if we've already heard that before from you, or the production, bro. I was just like, dog, like none of these beats are doing, like, to your point about the 3 things you require, I'm like, these beats aren't doing anything for me, bro. This shit might as well be a fucking acapella, and you just fucking, just rap, bro, because like you're not on beat. These beats suck, like, so I'm just like, bro, I don't get it. So I feel like my biggest takeaway was like, I don't, like, why? Like, I don't get how, again, bro, I don't know if his core audience loves this. I know this album's going to do numbers because it's him. He's probably the most popular rapper alive of all time or something. But it just felt a lot of like, man, like, as a 35-year-old man, I don't really understand it anymore. Cause like, there's no need for me to be like, yeah, like, midgets, like, bro, like, I don't get this. Like,
Yeah. No, I think that's a great take and assessment of why it feels off. I mean, I will say I do love the Renaissance and Lucifer beats. I think those were dope, but overall, and I do appreciate that he seemed to revert to his old style pretty seamlessly. Like it felt like a lot of these songs could have been from an album, 15 years ago or whatever. But yeah, for me, the shock value just doesn't hit. And maybe it's because nowadays we're like overexposed to people getting canceled left and right for saying all kinds of crazy shit, that now it's just not even that surprising or shocking. It's like him saying like a bad word or making fun of like a minority of some sort or disabled person. It's like, ooh, now look, like I'm the big bad rapper who says offensive shit. But like back in the day, that was new. But now it's like, who gives a fuck? Like, we see this shit on Twitter every 5 seconds.
Yeah, and I get you poking fun at it, right? Like making fun of, like, I like the making fun of society, making fun of culture. Like, dude, he destroyed Lizzo a couple times over, and I obviously giggled and I found it funny. But like, in the bigger scheme of things, and I didn't mean to make that pun about her. Yeah, but that was fire though. That's a skit right there. In the bigger scheme of it, it's also like, all right, bro, but like, if the entire song is just because you want to be controversial, like, how is that going to move me on a day-to-day listening basis, right? Like on some like soundtrack to my life type shit, like on my drive to work, right? Like, do I really want to go into work with like that top of mind, or do I want some like inspirational, aspirational, or some super cocky shit that's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm about to go be the fucking man today, right? Like, you don't really get any of that from him. So it's just like, I find it hard to understand the context I'm meant to sit in and just enjoy this. Right.
And
besides saying
controversial
respect
people that are already have been made fun of multiple times by everybody.
Yeah, so it's not nuance. Yeah. So again, it's tough, man. But again, I'm not gonna say it's bad. I just don't think it's a very specific group. I think he's trying to like appeal to, like, maybe that core audience that was a little bit older when he first came out and like loved him then. So like as they got older, they still kind of fucked with it. But I think it's tough for like us who were kids when this shit came out originally, and then like you kind of just grow out of it, right? Like, I think if you were 23 years old and fucked with him then, you're going to be 46 now and still fuck with it, right? Because you enjoyed that as a grown as adult already. So like, why wouldn't you love it now? But I think for us, bro, like it's our generation, like it's a little bit tough to kind of still be like championing, like, yo, why are you making fun of like a guy that died like so long ago? Like I just don't like it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. And I know people will assume it's because, you know, we're snowflakes or some shit and like hate offensive content, but I think it's more so it's just I don't know, for me musically, like it's not anything that really moves the needle for me. Like I don't like a comedy special or some shit, fine. But like if it's in music, like I don't need to hear about you making fun of some random disabled person or actor or whatever, just so I can like chuckle and be like, oh my God, he really just said that. He's so brave
Yeah.
and you know, anti establishment or whatever. Like that's not the shit I go to hip hop for, really.
Yeah, dude, like the comedy thing, it's funny you say that because like if this was like a one song that he's like, yo, I'm just really trying to be funny kind of a thing, cool. But if you want me
Yeah.
to indulge for an hour and 10 minutes of content, it's like, dog, I go to like comedians for this, right? Like I'm going to you because I still remember those moments
Yeah.
where I remember vividly me in India listening to Goodbye Hollywood, I think was one of his like popular songs on the Eminem show. Thinking like, bro, this guy, like, bro, like I want to run away from Hollywood because like it seems like it's fucking ruining his life, right? Like, so like shit like that, like I remember, and it's like, bro, like that made sense to listen to because I felt like the passion of a rebellious human being. Bro, like you're 50 something making fun of fat women. I'm like, bro, like I don't see the point of this, you know? Like it does, yeah, like I get it. In what context would we ever sit down and rock to it? And the honest answer is that we wouldn't. Um thoughts do you want to give some light to like kind of like the how the internet reacted to like the first couple songs where there's some like bars about Kendrick and Lil Wayne and shit like that?
What about that portion?
Yeah, do you want to shed some light on like how the internet reacted to that?
I mean, with Renaissance, he essentially called out hip hop listeners for essentially complaining about damn near every artist, or at least major hip hop artist, critiquing them in all unique ways. So, for instance, Joyner Lucas being corny, or Kendrick Lamar not having enough bangers on his last album, or I forget who else.
He said,
He
delete me
mentioned.
later, the J. Cole thing he said.
Oh yeah, the J. Cole delete me later, might delete later. Forget what his spin on that was, but in any case, he's calling everyone out for essentially never being satisfied with anything that is being delivered by.
He also called himself
call
out
them the greats.
in that mix.
Yeah, he
Like,
called himself out as
yeah.
well. Yeah. And obviously, you know, Twitter or whoever else took it upon themselves to claim he's dissing all these people, particularly Kendrick, because Kendrick's like a hot topic nowadays. So they spun the narrative that way and are saying he shot bars at Kendrick on that song.
Yeah, so it's pretty wild, bro, because especially like Renaissance is like the first song on the album, and those bars are literally like, I think I might be exaggerating, but no more than like 2 minutes into the song, right? So you essentially like heard the Kendrick line, you being like the internet trolls or whatever, or the guys who are super Drake stans that want to prove a point, like, see, someone else is taking shots at this guy. So you essentially heard this like a minute and a half in, turned the song off, and went to the internet, was like, see, Kendrick's getting, you know, he sucks. And it's like, bro, if you listen for 20 more seconds, he's being ironic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, see, the fact that people had like Grand Chat Wizard had like legit multiple posts about that, I was like, bro, you didn't hear the song. Like, even if you hear just the snippet, you're like, bro, that's not a diss. And if you hear the whole song, you know for a fact it's nowhere near. So that was like, again, how the internet can be fucking an awful place at times, because you're like, bro, like this is complete bullshit.
I think people are stupid. I'd like to believe they're not that stupid. I feel like content creators are just basically taking advantage of moments like this to get clicks and engagement and shit. There's no way they're that dumb to where they, even if they didn't hear the additional 20 seconds, like it's very obvious that Eminem is the last rapper to criticize another rapper for not having enough bangers. Like that's completely the opposite of what Eminem cares about or focuses on in his own music. If
Yeah.
Eminem was fucking Future or some shit, then yeah, maybe it would make sense that he might be criticizing other people about not having enough club bangers. But Eminem is like a lyricist at heart. He
Yeah.
focuses on the bars. Clearly, this album doesn't even have any fucking bangers on it. So how are people gonna misconstrue that? Like it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, bro. And like I get the whole clicks part, but I think at some point, like you also start questioning the person posting that content because you're like, bro, like, come on, dog. Like I get what side you lean on heavy here. I get that. But like, let's also just like not be. You look so fucking stupid, bro. Like you look so dumb if you're gonna make a 9-slide post about, hey, Eminem's going out Kendrick. It's like, bro, no, the fuck he isn't, bro. Like.
Yeah. If anything, he's defending him. Like
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. That if anything, I took that as like this is like If anything, it's a defense of him, right? If anything, it's going to be that. But yeah, that was pretty interesting, bro. Like how the internet reacted on Friday. With regards to, I think the other standout song or the other single was Toby, which was with Big Sean. Bro, did the other artist on that song even have any lyrics, or did he just make the beat? Because Toby was Eminem,
no, he was
Big
on it.
And Baby Tron.
Yeah, I think Baby Tron might have been the first person on that song.
Okay, then maybe it just like wasn't memorable enough. But what were your thoughts on Toby itself?
Personally, not really a fan of it. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Like it has that like circus clowny dark rap tone to it that just
like
for me just feels very cliche. It just feels too cliche to me.
Yeah, dude, it reminded me of like Slaughterhouse, but then also reminded me that Slaughterhouse was an absolute failure. So it's like you know what I mean? Like it just like the idea of it's cool, right? Like let's get like 2 or 3 really dope guys together on a track and just go. But like I don't know, bro. It didn't do anything for me. Like, dude, I heard that song 3 times. Like I couldn't remember Baby Tron's fucking verse. Like that's how like forgettable moments of that song were. The idea of it's cool because I think, and we'll get into Big Sean. I think Big Sean has like a special place like in our love for rap, right? So like we love to see him have these moments that may take him to like either recapture his momentum or just kind of help push him back at the forefront of like what hip hop is that we love. But yeah, bro, this wasn't it.
No, I wasn't a fan. It just felt a little too try hard to me. I don't know. I just picture like 3 dudes in all black hoodies, like in an abandoned warehouse with a microphone, like trying to like outbar everybody. And I don't know. I just couldn't take it seriously.
I couldn't take it seriously, right? I think there is a world where that can work, but it just didn't work in this situation, right? I think there is a world, and again, I'm not gonna, you know, if we get a Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake song, like again, I think the world would be like, you know, something's happening, right? But I think there's a world where 3 really good artists can be on a song and like it flows well. Oh, dude, didn't back in the like 2 years ago, didn't Jay-Z and Nas and Rick Ross have a song like that? Maybe I'm mistaken. There was like a song on one of the Khaled albums, something like that. But like, again, there's a world where that can happen where, hey, you go, I go, then you go, right? But there's more cohesiveness in that, right? Like, because even in this, bro, like they're alluding to like them being the guys in charge of rap. And it's like, no, the fuck you're not, bro. Like, stop. Like, you know, like, no one's thinking of anyone on this song when we think of the top guys, right? So let's also be like realistic to what the moment is. And again, when you're Eminem and you have the ability to garner people attention, the shit you say matters, bro, because we're really paying attention because you are like at some point we're that guy. So you can't just fuck around like some like up and coming artist. Like, yeah, I'm the future king of rap. It's like, bro, stop. You're not, kind of a thing. And I think that applies to Big Sean.
I think like, I don't know. I was just listening to a few more seconds of it. I feel like the production, for me at least, it has a huge influence on setting the tone for the song. And like first person shooter, was kind of nothing more than just saying I'm the shit or I'm the best rapper. But I think the beat and concept just overall was a lot cooler.
Well, it also
I
made
think
sense for that artist or those
right,
artists to do that.
right. But this, it feels like let's just showcase our ability on this beat. And the beat for me at least just feels very cliche. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it.
Dude, but cliche, but dude, like, I'm gonna say it, bro. There was moments that song that it sounded corny. Like,
no, I
corny.
believe that. Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I couldn't really finish it. I was like, I don't want to listen to this.
Yo, bro, when the thing about like the Peter Parker got bit by a spider, I got bit by a goat.
That
bro.
shit. And that's like the first 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's Babytron, by the way. That's why you probably tuned out. You're like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought they all said it for some reason.
Maybe they all did.
Yeah, but even more reason to. Okay, so I think maybe Babytron's flow was kind of, you know what it is, bro? I think his flow is similar enough to Big Sean that it was hard to differentiate the two.
Got it. Yeah, no, that's true. I was thinking that before you said it. You probably
okay, because you know what I thought? Legit, I thought that Big Sean had 2 verses on fucking his track. I'm like, bro, that's pretty impressive for Big Sean to get 2 verses. I legit had that thought on my run this morning when I was listening to shit earlier.
No. Well, Babytron's from Michigan as well. So
well, they're all Detroit guys, right?
Naturally, all yeah. So they all just have similar
flows, similar enough, kind of a thing,
or whatever you want to.
Yeah. Okay, so just to wrap up the Eminem portion of this episode, I guess we're saying is this almost like a Larry June kind of like reaction where we're like, hey, it's just not for us, kind of a thing.
I would say so. I mean, Larry June, I definitely have more moods because I think he fits in the vibe out category. I just haven't explored enough his music. Eminem, I've tried a billion times. I don't know what category. Like maybe one day when I want to tie up a family member and throw him in my trunk, I'll like put this shit back on. But
you just go to the circus really to try to fucking create mayhem and just find like the small people. Like, come here, you fucking bitch.
Dressed up as like the Joker or some shit. Maybe like that's the environment.
Yeah. Dude, I would just say, it's not for me. It's not for me. But again, I lyrically, there was moments though where like, I'm like, all right, dude, this guy's rapping his ass off, but I just can't, I think for certain artists, bro, like it has to be everything, bro. It has to be the energy you're on, the vibe I'm on, and also the cohesiveness of the beat and the lyrics, bro. It just can't be you rapping your ass off. Like, there's plenty of rappers who do that, bro, and we don't fuck with them either. So why would we change because you're just like Eminem?
Yeah.
Agreed. But let's stick to the topic of Detroit rappers. So Big Sean is making some headlines. He had a On the Radar freestyle, and then he's been tweeting a little bit back and forth about just, I don't know if he's alluding to like Kendrick and Drake or something at all, but it just seems that he's trying to grasp some kind of attention right now. So what are your thoughts on either the freestyle or just kind of all the little bits of news around Big Sean?
So I didn't see the freestyle itself, but I saw all of the news. I think my problem with these types of controversies is with rap, like there's only so many, I guess, topics you can allude to when you're in these freestyles, when you're talking about being the shit and whatever else. People are always talking about haters and like, ops and beef in the most vague, like anonymous sense. And then people just want to, whatever's going on within the culture, people want to say this person's talking about that person. Obviously Kendrick and Drake are beefing. Big Sean and Kendrick had a history of beef. And I feel like they just, again, these fucking content creators like us want to, not us, but like us want to misconstrue shit to get likes and be like, oh, he's talking about this person. When Kendrick's DJ literally yesterday said that Big Sean wasn't talking about Kendrick. It was he said specifically a different Gemini. I don't know who the hell that would be, but it's not Kendrick apparently.
Got it. But do you think, and that's fair, but do you think there's enough, and I know you haven't heard the freestyle yet, but I agree with the, like, in these freestyle things, right? Correct. You could only say like 4 or 5 things, right? Out of all the bitches you fuck, you know, all the ops you taken out, all the people who are scared of you, and all the haters who try to be like you. Right? There's not that much to say in these freestyles besides be very. That's a great setting to be lyrical as fuck, off the top, and just prove your worth, right? But do you think, dude, my thing with the Big Sean thing, because I did see the freestyle. One, I thought the freestyle was actually decently good. Like we've both loved Big Sean, right? So I think the freestyle was actually pretty good. But I do think there was moments enough that he leaned in a little bit to the idea of who he could be talking about, even though it wasn't very specific, to just have this attention about him right now, right? Like, dude, when was the last time you and I spoke about Big Sean, right? So I do think he was vague enough, but also a little direct enough where it's like, it could be about these two niggas if I wanted it to be kind of a thing.
Yeah. And I think it is about this Kendrick Drake situation, but not like a
fuck them, but
it's like,
hey, I'm also in the mix. I'm one of those guys too, kind of a thing.
Right. And well, he said dudes are looking for engagement, like they got their knee bent, and dudes could be just, again, content creators, double XL, like whoever, like they want engagement, meaning they want me to go at Kendrick or Drake and all this shit. But I have better things to do than find someone to beef with. Basically saying I don't have time or hate or energy to go at Kendrick or Drake. But if he were to say that, people would take it and say, well, he's basically saying like Kendrick and Drake want him to beef and he's too good for them, or they don't want smoke from him or some shit like that. I think it's very simple. Like Big Sean's just saying he has better shit to do than fucking getting a rap beef. Like, I don't think it was really like specifically like Kendrick's trying to bait me and I'm behind.
Oh, yeah. For sure. 100%. I just think like in listening to it, I was like, he wants to at least allude to like, bro, if I wanted to be in that mix, I could, kind of a thing. And like, you guys should look at me as the same as them, kind of a thing. And I was just like, I don't know. And that part was just like, again, I wasn't mad at it, but again, almost like the Eminem thing, I'm like, I can't take that serious because you're not, right? And obviously maybe you no one's gonna rap that, hey, I'm not like them, right? Like I'm not like those guys. Like those guys are so much better than me. I get that part, but just to like dabble in the idea of you being one of the greats, it's like I can't support that nonsense, kind of a thing.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who writes music as well, I feel like naturally it's just kind of always a theme that you revert to. Like, because I mean, the like hip hop is supposed to be, for the most part, like, you know, full confidence. I'm the shit. I'm giving it my all,
yeah.
Like, so to go in and be like, I'm decent, like, yeah, I'm average. Like that shit just wouldn't like.
I'm a B minus, motherfucker. Like,
yeah, like and the only time you don't do that is if it's like a super vulnerable song where you're like admitting your mistakes or some shit.
Yeah.
But otherwise, in a freestyle, like it doesn't matter if you sold fucking 3 copies. Like you're still saying you're the GOAT.
Yeah, no, dude, I get it. Like if you're not gonna shoot your shot and like believe in yourself in that setting, then when do it, right? I just think him alluding to the current events of hip hop was more so like an attention grab. Like, look at me right now, which again, I respect. Dude, I was actually talking about him yesterday when I was out with my boy. Do you think that like, did we outgrow him? And pause if that sounded crazy, but like, did we like, in the sense like, did he become like too woke for us? And again, not that like anything he says is like woke, but like, I don't know, man. You know how there's just rappers where you just outgrow, and it's just like, I don't know. There's times about him, man. I'm just like, we enjoyed his last album, the one with like Deep Reverence. I think that was his last album. I could be wrong. Oh no, didn't he just drop an album like when Kendrick dropped and we didn't listen to it?
Was that an album? Shit, I hope not. That would be sad if we just missed an entire fucking drop. So the last project he dropped was mixtapes, albums. Detroit 2, which was
okay. Nah, Detroit 2 is the one that has Deep Reverence. We fucking loved, right? Yeah. But that was 4 years ago, bro. Since then, I don't know, man. I feel like since then, there's just like, even with him when he's rapping, I'm like, does this shit even hit for me anymore? And it just like, I don't know, bro. I feel like it doesn't, dog. Like, yeah, like it
Uh-huh.
just doesn't. And I love this fucking guy. And I remember the moments of listening to Big Sean when he fucking dropped his, what was it those first albums called? Finally Famous, and like all those Finally Famous mixtapes, and him and Mike Posner. And then, dude, he was on Click with Kanye and Jay-Z. You're like, bro, this dude's gonna be the next biggest thing in hip-hop. But bro,
Yeah.
I feel like, again, we always say this, bro. Even the GOATs have their runs come to an end. And then, bro, I think with him, like I get confused because he still looks so fucking young, right? And he looks healthy as
Mhm.
shit. And he's like, you so think he's like in his mid-20s rapping, but you're like, he's not, bro. And like the lyrics are kind of the same. And like, I think even we're quoting Eminem now, ironically, but like even like I think Eminem alludes in one of the songs like that you guys keep wanting me to reinvent myself, kind of a thing. And like, I think kind of though, bro, right? Like if you're not gonna reinvent yourself in a way, like why should we peep your new shit? Right? If you're gonna
Yeah.
be saying the same shit, I can listen to Finally Famous and just like be satisfied. So I know I feel like over the last 3.5 years post that album, which we both really enjoyed, it's just been really hard for me to like fully embrace him as like a lyrical artist, like, or like an artist I want to go peep, because I'm like, I don't know, bro. You're kind of saying the same shit again. Again, you're not going to rap about being a decent rapper because that makes no sense, right? That's not the
Mhm.
genre. But like, you're not even, dude. I'm thinking about top 10 guys. You're not even crossing my mind anymore, bro. Like at all. So it's just tough for me because when I was in love with Big Sean as an artist, like he was flirting with that all the time, and then
Mhm.
now it's just like it doesn't even feel like it's close.
Yeah. I think he shot himself in the foot like earlier on because he had a lot of hit singles, but those singles were uh considered to be a bit more corny and not didn't really showcase like his full potential. Because I think the more I hear his bars, the more I'm like, damn, you could have been in that conversation more often. But I think, with songs like the Nicki Minaj ass and all that stuff, when you see some of those bars, you're like, this is pretty cringeworthy. And I feel like it's hard to escape from that. And I feel like now he's definitely strayed away from those like super low hanging fruit type of songs. But I think he ever since his mental health break, I mean, he hasn't really had any major singles that I can think of. I feel like I Don't Fuck With You was like the
In the
last
middle, yeah, I don't fuck
absolute
with
major
you.
hit, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, there was a couple other Drake features that popped. The one, I think there's a Drake song with him and Two
Uh,
Chains. Is it Blessings, maybe?
yeah,
That was like
something like that.
yeah, it was a banger. Dude, but it's funny that you said the mental health thing, bro, because I think two things aren't working in his favor, bro. I do think, and again, we'll get to Kanye in a second. I do think Kanye going on Drink Champs and shitting on him affected the way the public views him. Right? We can say Kanye being Kanye and being weird, but bro, when the dude who discovered you is going off on you, not really being an artist, it's not the best look, right? And
Mhm.
he did a good job, like rebuttaling that stuff later on when he was on Drink Champs. And then, yeah, bro, that mental health stuff is a real thing. Obviously, we talk about that, but like, I don't know if we're trying to hear that shit in songs, bro. And it feels like in songs, that's why to my woke point earlier, it's almost like he's trying to preach that shit too heavy. And I feel there's a way to talk about like your consciousness with mental health in still a very rapper dope kind of fucking way that I
Mhm.
don't think he's been able to crack just yet. Cause it feels like too preachy, like, oh, sit down, talk to a therapist type shit. It's like, dog,
Yeah.
like, I'm not trying to hear this shit, dog. I listen to a podcast if I want to hear that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to hear you for an hour and a half tell me how I could be a better man by this. I feel like Jay-Z does that in a weird way, but like, bro, you're not Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
that's my struggle with him. Like, it's feel very preachy recently.
I mean, I think there's a place for it, but I feel like you'd have to lean all in and be like on some like Lil Peep XXX Tentacion like depressing shit. Like that would have to be your full thing. You couldn't be on like a trap beat telling me to like see a therapist. Like that's too confusing. Like
Yeah.
you make me want to go to the club and drink, but you're telling me to fucking stay at home and like rethink my life. Like that doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
I don't know. I feel like he also doesn't. I don't know. Maybe his delivery or something doesn't have as much charisma as it should. Like in a weird way, it's fun sometimes, but sometimes it is monotone and kind of doesn't hit as strong as like J. Cole or Drake or whoever, like Kendrick.
Yeah, bro. So when the content is leaning towards more woke mindedness about like, hey, remove your ego, quiet your ego, and your flow is more like you're talking, right? There's just like, it's like, dog, am I at a TED talk or am I about to listen to like at least a couple bangers, you know? Like,
right.
Because even that album, Detroit 2, like, I mean, Deep Reverence is a song that we have deep love for because of like the content, Nipsey, like the way they were able to use little interview skits, you know, and stuff like that. But that's not a banger, bro. Like the last, like to your point, bro, I Don't Fuck With You is, dude, damn near 12 years ago, if not more. Mm-hmm. And like, bro, like he hasn't had a banger in a minute, dog. Like in a fucking minute.
I think that combined with just not releasing much music at all. I think if you do that, naturally people just forget about you. Like,
yeah.
Even B.O.B., like who I've seen, he just released a song and it was actually really good. And I'm like, damn, how is he not nearly as popular? That this motherfucker could not escape the radio for like 2 years, and now he's like competing with D-list rappers, it seems like. So I think,
bro, that's probably generous, my dude. He's off the grid completely, dog.
Yeah,
like,
off the grid completely. But I'm like, you're also not really releasing music, and none of the songs that are released are bangers that are getting a whole lot of attention. So if that's the case and your music doesn't have a whole lot of substance, I think people are just gonna be like, well, I can find 500 other rappers who are kind of doing the same shit.
Yeah. Which again, to our take from last week, again, episode 185 up everywhere, is about like the old school rappers, bro. Like, bro, I think people aren't trying to hear that shit. And if they kind of do, they're like, yo, let me see what fucking Common is talking about right now, right? Or let me see what other rappers. Again, I think there's not enough happening now. And then when these new school artists are giving us subpar things to their own catalog, I think it's even making more people feel like, you know what, let me just see what let's see what Lupe is fucking talking about, right? Let's see what Eminem is talking about. But yeah, I think he falls in that category. Like, yeah, he's a new school rapper, but I think he's on his last couple legs, bro. Like, I don't see his rap career ending well for him.
Yeah.
Which
no, I mean, crazy. But I feel like he's also, I don't know. I get the sense he doesn't even care as much. Like, obviously everyone cares to a degree what other people think, but I feel like he's kind of living his best life, just kicking it with Hit Boy and his kid, and it's just like, hey, I'm still here and I know how to make good music, but the whole top 5 conversation thing, I think is a ship that sailed.
Yeah, maybe, but it's hard for me to think about someone again, dude. Maybe he's like has the best mental health in the world, and good for him if he's in that situation. But I think it's hard for me again when the genre of music you decided to do is all about being the guy, and like it's clear that you're not, and you're still making music about being the guy. There's no way that doesn't fuck with your head a little bit, bro.
True.
Like that,
especially if you're that close. If you were that close to it,
correct, bro. He was within touching distance, dog.
Right. So I imagine an NBA player on let's say the Clippers or some shit, isn't really that salty about not having a ring. But if you're on the Mavericks, you're probably like, fuck.
Yeah. Like I was there, bro. I was in the game and blew up my knee. Then we're here now, right? Like I can still hoop, but I'm not competing, bro. And he's not competing with those guys.
Yeah.
But rumors.
Sorry, say that again.
Do you want to go into the Kanye rumors?
Yeah.
So Kanye announced his retirement. I didn't see that one over the weekend. So when did that come up, and like what was the context?
Yeah, the context, apparently Rich the Kid received a text from Kanye announcing his retirement. Um, it's still unclear what the exact details were, or if the decision's final. I mean, with Kanye, nothing's ever final or clear. But the quote is retiring from professional music, whatever the fuck that means. Um, so obviously it's a big conversation now.
Do you believe
I'm
it?
sure people are wondering if we'll ever get new music, but no, I never believe it. And the reason is, so I mean, I retirement in general, I always like think about what that even means. But I think with music, it's hard for me to ever believe because these people are lucky enough to where their job is their passion. And if you do retire and have the only reason someone would want to retire is so they can do the things they love. And if music is all you love,
Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
I
yeah.
can imagine taking a break, but to just say you're never touching it again is an absolute fucking lie. The only reason he's as rich as he is because he loved music so much. So I don't believe for especially him, someone who wants attention. Like there's some actors and stuff who disappear from Hollywood and shit because they didn't want the limelight. They didn't want, the accolades and stuff. They just didn't love it enough to deal with that shit. But Kanye's the complete opposite. Like he has to be the best in everything at all times. So I personally don't believe it. Maybe he wants people to miss him or something. I don't know.
I think it's that, bro. I think this announcement, because, bro, there's also no way that Rich the Kid, who, again, I think we both have respect for him, and he's had moments over the last like 8 years. We're like, yo, he has a couple of songs that we truly enjoy, especially recently with Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign. There's no way though that Rich the Kid is screenshotting and posting intimate messages with him and Kanye without Kanye's approval, bro. So like, there's no like, I think that he very much is like, yo, I'm gonna send you some shit, post it, and let's just garner some attention real quick before we either go on a rollout tour for the second part of culture of Vultures or whatever, or something, dog. Because he tried to insert himself in the Drake and Kendrick beef. That was a fucking flop, right? Like, this is just him trying to garner attention, bro. He's never gonna retire from this shit. He loves this shit too much. If we were to believe him, he would never make any kind of like aggressive hip hop music ever again post Jesus is King in 2018, bro. And here we are,
right?
With him announcing like, I want to do porn, and he gave us the most like horniest fucking album in the history of hip hop with Vultures, which I loved, by the way, like absolutely loved the album. But like, let's also be serious, bro. Like, there's whatever version we get of him like for a year run, like you can quickly just move on to like a new version of that a year later, right? Like that's why I love, like, there's like, I think we used to post this gif of like the animation of like all the different versions of Kanye. Bro, there's like 20 versions of Kanye we've seen in our like lifetime, like, and there's gonna be more. Like, I think he's currently in the, I'm a little bit overweight, I'm wearing some like average looking clothes, but I'm also an absolute attention whore without saying that, right? Like, I think that's the current version of him.
Yeah. And I mean, if history's repeats itself, like pretty much every rapper I could think of that said they were going to retire never actually did it. Like Lupe obviously just released an album. Logic, I think Jay-Z said it a couple different times. And
bro, he had a farewell album. Like,
yeah, he had a farewell album, and then didn't he have that song Kingdom Come or some shit? What the fuck was it?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, Kingdom Come.
Shit. Yeah. And I was like, this motherfucker left for like 3 months.
3 months,
I think
bro.
retirement is just, I'm taking a break, panic, and while you do that, I'll like harvest all that energy and come back with something. Like maybe this is promo for Vultures 2 or something.
Yeah, I think the retirement part also is, bro, like, you're also not trying to be an old flabby rapper, dog, talking about kid shit in your 50s. And like, what are you doing? Like, why? Right. But yeah, that's the thing, dude. Like, I think we also have to respect them in the sense of like, I'll use like the Vince Carter analogy or like a basketball analogy, right? They like, again, these guys who have like 20-year careers, right? You were maybe the guy for 10 of them, but you still love the game. So you'll play for 10 more years as just a good piece, right? It's hard for these guys. I think they want to, when they say retire, it's like, I want to go out on top, right? But you love the game so much that you're willing to stick around, but you have to be okay with the idea. And this is the hardest part, I would assume, is that the game may not love you back, right? And then you're just around putting out albums that no one really fucks with besides your core. And then you start witnessing your core is actually dwindling. So then what really are you, right? But I think if you love the game, you don't give a fuck, right? Like if Big Sean loves the game, he doesn't give a fuck. But I think Kanye loves the game, but also loves being the guy, right? Because he's been the guy for fucking 2 decades, if not 3 decades. So I think these guys struggle the most. Whereas I think like a 2 Chainz is cool with just dropping an album and being rich. You know, because he loves life. And he's like, bro, I love rapping, but I do other shit. I don't got to be the guy, but you guys remember me as the guy at one point. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I respected 2 Chainz and shit like that, right? I respected Rick Ross, who just like, bro, I'm going to give you a fire bar on a feature every now and then. You're going to peep my album because you respect me. But I don't got to be the guy because I'm fucking 45 and like rich as fuck. You know, like I appreciate that approach better than like the guys who want to be the guy. And it's like, bro, that time has gone, bro.
Yeah, that's why I don't envy, you know, the Drakes and J. Cole's and Kanye's, because that pressure doesn't seem worth it. But maybe if you're like a narcissist of some sort, like that's all you know and crave. But like someone like Wiz Khalifa, we talk about all the time, like he seems to be living the hell out of his life. And not once was he claiming to be number one. I don't think his style even warranted that kind of conversation.
But he was though for a little bit.
Oh yeah, he was. But it like went without saying. Like he's on the charts, smoking weed, having fun, and he's still doing it, but he's even richer. And I don't think he's had like, for as big as he got, he never had like some crazy beef or controversy that made it like not worth it.
Correct. Yeah, dude, I think you just have to be wired that way. And I think I was on Flagrant, or maybe you said it or something I saw recently, but it was like your reign at the, like your time at the top of the mountain is meant to look at the view, enjoy it, and then realize that, hey, you can't stand there forever because there's someone else that needs that spot. So you got to keep moving your way down, right? Like you got to be okay with that, right? And I think like a Drake, again, maybe he's already at that point, bro, or he's going to be at that point very soon where you got to be okay with not being the guy, right? And again, that's a hard thing, bro, because to be, again, rest in peace, but Biggie never had that moment to like, because he died at 24, Pac, same thing. But like Jay-Z's really the only one to go out the way he wanted to, and he was able to flex that into, I married the baddest in the game and I can pop up on a random song with her. But like when I drop an album, the world's gonna stop. But like I don't need to be in this shit every single day because clearly by the rest of my life, as I'm a billionaire, dog, I won. You know, and I feel like when you have the other things, it's easier. But when like a Drake doesn't really have anything else besides music, Big Sean, we only know him as a rapper. Yes, Kanye has the fucking clothing line, bro, but like he kind of doesn't. You know, like no one's really trying to rock Kanye shit right now. So like, I feel like these guys are struggling with like their identity only being as a rapper. And it's like, well, what else am I going to do? I got to still be the guy.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just thinking about all of this. Obviously the ego's involved, which is insane because it's like, you would think that once you are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, you've won in life and can like just move on. Which is why the Kendrick bar about ayahuasca and Drake hits deep right now, because I'm like, maybe Drake and these guys in general need that shit, because at this point, really, what are they doing it for other than the internet telling them how amazing they are? Like, that's pretty much it.
Dude, you're right, bro. Unless you love the game, right? You just love the game. You just love the like the idea of like getting in the studio and just fucking putting out music. So yeah, we'll see. But I don't think I would put a lot of money on Kanye not going anywhere. We'll do one last topic before Heat of the Week. So speaking of not going anywhere, TDE artists are not going to Toronto. The Toronto police are canceling TDE artist shows left and right. The latest is Mr. Schoolboy Q was meant to have a show in Toronto, and that was canceled, allegedly by the police. And he had a couple recent tweets on today, being July 17th, that stated that Dot, not Dot. What's the guy who's the head of TD?
Top Dog.
Top Dog was just with Lil Wayne and just with Birdman, and Party Next Door performed in LA a couple weeks ago, and like nothing happened. But he alluded like, bro, if we wanted this to be an issue, this would have been an issie. And then he tweeted immediately like, yo, this is just funny to me. Like, it's not a big deal, kind of a thing. So your thought on this idea of artists who currently have static with a main Toronto artist trying to go to Canada and perform shows? Like, your idea of like the police getting involved to shut that shit down. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, obviously, I think it's lame, particularly when no real violence has taken place because of these shows. It's not like, Chicago gang violence where like there's actual.
If I would have said that shit, I would have been canceled, by the way. But
Chicago. Damn, if I was some like alt-right conservative or some shit, life would be over. I mean, I get it assuming the police are the only ones involved. Like, I get after the Rick Ross incident and just the very obvious impact that Not Like Us and TD and all this stuff has had. I get why they'd want to be on the safer side and just not want to have anything take place. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Not Like Us was played at the show, even if it was just the DJ warming up or whatever. Because if you're going to see Schoolboy Q, chances are you like Kendrick and you like Not Like Us. So I get it. But at the same time, the artists are like the brand, and they're always going to be attached to anything that happens. So it's going to look like Drake is being petty and blocked, him from getting money. And I just feel like it's going to have a negative impact if any OVO shit takes place in LA, because who knows, like if they try to press him or get his show fucked up or something. Like, I don't know, it's just not a good look at all. It makes TDE look better.
Interesting. I also think though there's no chance. I can't see Drake being involved, bro.
No,
like, I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see Drake is calling the local Toronto police station, say, "Hey, by the way, there's about to be a concert. Shut that shit down." Right? Like, I know there's rumors that he helps get people through the borders and shit like that. Like, if they have SAG with the government. Yeah. But dude, I think we know, like, not that we experienced firsthand, but through COVID, when we had a lot of time to observe how shit was happening, bro, Canada had the strictest fucking rules than any other nation. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Canada has a strict rule now. Like, if there's a warrant for your arrest or you have like any criminal background, you can't even enter the country right now. So, bro, like, I think them easing on the side of like extreme caution has always been a thing, bro. So, like, if there's someone in intelligence at a fucking Toronto police officer who's like, bro, like, there's a 2% chance this could get ugly. Let's just shut this shit down. Bro, I'm leaning towards that's what happened, bro. And again, I know the convenient thing is like, oh, bro.
Yeah, the internet's gonna...
Correct, bro.
Yes,
but like, and obviously the internet, but Schoolboy Q is legit tweeting this, right? So like, yeah, it's also from his own mouth, because I get it. Like, it's fucking my pockets. Like, I'm not a Kendrick or a Drake. Like, I can't just pull up at every show and sell out, right? Like, he probably needs that money. So I get with that. But like, dude, this feels like just a Canadian official feeling like, bro, like, shut that shit down, dog. Like, we can't take this chance. Like, we can't at all. So yeah, but I get to your point. Like, in the allure of the beef, it makes TD look like the bigger, like, like, bro, we let your people in. What's the big deal? Like, yo, let's just get this money. But I think realistically, bro, Canada's always sided on the dude. I think there was a thing because my boy's Billy's brother lives in Toronto. This is again during COVID. Bro, he had to quarantine like for a week before being allowed back into the fucking country, bro. So like, dude, they've always been extreme with their shit. So I can see where there's like a real rap beef. They've seen how these things have played out in the past, right? People getting killed, God forbid. So I can see someone being like, yo, listen, this may not be popular opinion, but shut that shit down, bro, because it's not going to happen in our city. And I'm not mad at it, bro, because that's also consistent with what they've been doing.
Right. No, I'm not surprised. If I were the Canadian police, I'd probably do the same if I didn't want to have to deal with some shit. But I'm glad that Schoolboy Q specifically said Canadian police don't want him performing, because
Yeah.
if he didn't say that, it would be like he's implying Drake had something to do with it. But I see comments on the tweet. People are already making jokes that Drake is paying the police and this and that. Conveniently, like you said, that's going to be the narrative, that Drake's afraid or, bitter or what have you.
Yeah, like the meme of him, like, that black guy like on the phone with like, they're here.
Yeah. That's basically what they're implying. But I'm curious. So I know that you mentioned Party Next Door in LA. I don't think anyone gives a fuck about Party Next Door in the context of this beef. I forgot he was even mentioning it.
Bro, but he was mentioned the most aggressive way, dog.
Yeah. Playing with his nose at the party.
Yeah, but isn't even like the A minor shit, like isn't he the one with a weird case too, or is he just like the drug charges?
Just the drug charges. Baca was the one. The Party Next Door had the most like innocent, forgettable thing. It's just like, oh, he does drugs. Like
you got it.
About The Weeknd or any damn near 90% of these rappers.
Dude, but if anything, he should be the one most mad, bro, because he dropped a somewhat fire album that completely got forgotten, bro. Like,
yeah. Also, like, I'm curious why he got mentioned too, because he seems like the one dude who's just right and like minds his fucking business.
I mean, dude, but he's also OVO till the end. So I think like they're like, if you're with
I thought they had beef for some reason or issues, like kind of like The Weeknd, but I guess not.
Drake and him?
Yeah, I thought he and Drake, like I thought when Party Next Door was on like a decline and was kind of out of the scene, I thought that was because there was like tension between him and Drake.
Oh, but maybe, dude. But it seems like those guys are all right or die, bro. Because again, we've had this conversation before, but I feel like if you're an OVO artist until now, right, where like now you're like tucking your fucking chain, I think up until now, bro, I think Drake just lets you do whatever the fuck you want and like enjoy your fucking career and get a bag, right? Because I've never, bro, they've been around for a minute, OVO, and you never hear any of those artists out in public saying some wild shit about Drake. Ever, dog. Like, it's like, yo, he's so nice. He's supportive. If we need a verse,
blackmail on him.
Dude, maybe, dog. But, dude, you would think something would get out, right? Like, at some, like, dude, even like when Diddy was dealing with people, like, people was still like out and about talking. His artists were talking shit about him, right? You never got that from an OVO artist because, like, it seems like Drake just is an artist, bro. Like, yo, do your thing. I'm here if you need a fucking help. But yeah, I'm sure it will end up being nothing, but I guarantee the internet runs with this and makes it sound like Drake is the one calling the cops to like shut down this shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't think
bro.
he takes it seriously, thankfully.
Yeah, thankfully, bro. And Drake's gonna be back in California at some point, and hopefully it's all safe. Hopefully he brings out like Steph Curry or some shit, and it's like a funny moment. But
yeah.
All right, bro. Before we get out of here, Heat of the Week, episode 186. What do you got?
It's one of those weeks where like I didn't hear anything new that was particularly exciting, but I had a friend who Alex. Roy. He was asking if we had any work playlists, and
okay,
for some reason I sent him like a lo-fi thing I listened to, but for some reason that playlist made me think of the phrase "work hard, play hard." And then I thought of that Wiz Khalifa song, Work Hard, Play Hard, which then brought me to one of his older releases from 2012 called ONIFC, Only Nigga in First Class. And I listened to it. I think this is around the time when he was pretty mainstream and like was...
Yeah, but the end of that top dog level thing was soon coming. Like it was soon, you could feel it. You could feel it. You're like, bro, this feels like a reach, my dog. But all right, do your thing. Like have this moment one last time, but like it's gonna let's wrap this up kind of a thing.
Exactly. I mean, by this point I was already like kind of losing interest in this new big star but character or whatever. But this album I was much better than I remember. I think a lot of times you just kind of get spoiled by the moment and don't realize how good certain things are. But there's a lot of songs on this album that are amazing. I mean, Work Hard, Play Hard, I think was the single, which is still pretty dope and hard hitting. But other songs like Bluffin' with Burner um, was one of my favorites. And I think the other one that was also super dope that I remembered was Mary 3 Times, produced by
Mm-hmm.
Cardo, which is one of my favorite producers. So, yeah, if you haven't listened to that in a while and are looking to revisit some older music, I think that
Yeah, this
album.
shit has a weekend feature.
Yeah, remember? Yeah, the song, or Remember You. That's what it is.
So which is your heat of the week? Is the whole album your heat of the week?
Technically the whole album, but Work Hard, Play Hard is the one that
Okay.
brought me to it. So, I think that one.
All
I
right.
guess I'll
I'm
stick
not
with.
mad at it, dude. Yeah, I listened to the album. But yeah, when this came out, I was just like, bro, like how do we, because this album was the follow-up to Rolling Papers. So like, dude,
Yeah.
I think the issue, and not to go on a tangent about Wiz Khalifa, because I agree this was a very good album. But I think the issue with him, bro, it's like with any artist, like almost, I mean, not Drake, because obviously it played out differently. But bro, he had so many fucking mixtapes prior to that first album. And then the
Mhm.
album itself, like you're like, oh shit, even this is really good. So I think like expectations are so fucking high that it just wasn't realistic. And again, I don't think he's an artist who truly gave a fuck about being the guy. So it
Yeah.
was like, bro, like if you think I'm gonna go and like practice this, like I'm not doing like lyrical exercises. Like, bro, I'm giving you the same shit over and over, and I hope you like it.
No, 100% agree with that. And that Weekend
Uh,
song, I remember it because, no pun intended, it had that wild bar in his verse where he says, "Girl, take pride in what you want to do, even if that means a new man every night inside of you."
that was the weekend.
Yeah,
Like that was the weekend's lyrics.
yeah,
Oh, sick, dude. Yeah, I couldn't remember that song at all. But damn, dude. Also, 20 songs back in the day is wild, bro. Because that
I
means,
know.
yeah, 20 songs back in the day is crazy. Because these songs, dude. When I realized I actually listened to the what's the documentary on Tuesday, bro. Bro, those G Unit, not that time, but bro, like every song having 3 verses seems crazy now. You know what I mean? Like every
Yeah.
song is like 3.5, 4 minutes long. You're like, bro, that would never happen now. Like everything now is like, yeah, you're getting 2 verses, the hook 3
Yeah.
times, and call it a fucking day. But yeah, it's wild how like that was the standard back in the day. Like you're getting 3 fucking verses. You're like, bro, like
And like a bridge.
and a bridge and a fucking little skit. And you're like, bro, what?
Yeah.
This album's forever. Which again, at the time was the standard. So we didn't have like a point of reference. But yeah, it was interesting. I'm like, this is a long fucking album for like 12 songs. But cool. Only Nigga in First Class, the deluxe version. Go listen to that. But Work Hard, Play Hard is on the playlist on both Spotify and Apple Music. Bro, all right. So I'm gonna have, since you already recommended an album, people can listen to that. So I don't have an album to recommend, but I have an artist / DJ to recommend, because I've also been very much on a there's not much out, let me go back into my playlist bag kind of a thing and figure out what DJs are putting together good sets. Bro, have you ever heard of the DJ called Sasha Marie?
No.
Okay, so Sasha Marie, I think she's a part of Selection, or at least I've seen her at a lot of Selection sets. Bro, she has a mix on Big Crown Records so it's called BCR Radio. So Big Crown Records on SoundCloud, episode 42. Bro, that shit is like, it's an hour and 47 minutes long, then an hour and 30 minutes long, the entire mix. Bro, I don't even want to give you a genre. That shit is just a phenomenal listen to, dog. Like if you're like on your couch or with a hookah and you got the lights going, bro, this is it, bro. Like, and again, it's jazz, bro. It's Spanish jazz. She'll sprinkle in some R&B. She'll sprinkle in like one Gunna song in the mix of and that shit just sounds flawless, bro. Like the Spanish shit, bro. Like if I didn't speak Spanish, I would learn Spanish to understand what this mood is, because the mood is immaculate, bro. So highly recommend go checking out Sasha Marie. But if I'll send you this specific playlist, bro, because this shit is like a vibe, dog. Like you're just driving around or in your car and you're like, bro, I need to be on a beach somewhere, because this is everything. So for the summer, this is the mood I'm on right now.
Yeah, no, definitely send that to me. How long is it?
An hour and 27 minutes.
Perfect. So it's like an album-ish.
Yeah. But because there's so many like genre changes, like it feels longer than what it really is. But like in the best way, not like in the like, oh, it's taking forever kind of a thing.
Right. Dope. No, looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah, I'll send it to you right now, bro. But all right, so yeah, that's Asha Marie, BCR Radio episode 42. But by God, let the people know what we got going on. Let's get out of here.
Yes, sir. Catch us at audio-theory.com. We have a new episode on all platforms every week. We also have the Apple and Spotify Heat of the Week playlist on the site. And if you're on YouTube, check down below. We got merch. It's also on the site link as well. But other than that, please like, share, subscribe, donate, do what you can to support the channel.
Absolutely. Love you, my dude. Talk to you soon.
You too. Peace.
Peace.